Here's how I bought this 12-unit apartment complex without using any of my own money and pocketed almost $200,000 of tax-free money. Yeah, tax-free. This property was listed on the MLS a few years ago for $750,000. It had been there for a couple months and then recently had a price drop to $725,000, so it kind of caught my attention. I went back and forth with the agent and I got it under contract to purchase for $682,000. I went the traditional route and put 20% down, so 20% of $682,000 is $137,000, and the bank did the other 80%, which was $545,000. But I told you I didn't use any of my own money. I wasn't lying, I did not. I used a private lender for that $137,000 down payment. So they gave me the money to put down on the property, and then I'm going to give them money back every single month and then give it all back in a couple years. The property was occupied and it was cash flowing pretty good, so I took a portion of that cash flow and paid the private lender every single month. I gave him 7% annualized on his money, which equates to $800 a month. So I took the rent from all the tenants, I paid the mortgage, I paid the private lender, and there was a little bit left for me to make improvements on the property. And that's what I did over the next 3 years. I took cash flow, anything that was left over, and slowly improved the property a little bit. I also upped the rents when tenants moved out. I didn't raise any rents on tenants that were living there, but as tenants move out, I raised the rent to right below market price. I don't usually like to charge market price. I like to give them a little bit of a deal so they stay longer and take care of the property and feel like they're getting a deal. So over the next few years, I improved the building a little bit, I raised the rents a little bit, and then I also got efficient with the expenses. I'll explain why that's important in a second. I gave the tenants more options to pay. I utilized technology. I utilized the maintenance crew to get effective. So basically the expenses that were had on the property went down over the next few years because of my experience and what I did with the property. Now that's important because obviously I want to increase the income coming in by reducing expenses and raising rent, but also that's how the building is valued. Apartment complexes and multifamily properties are valued on the income they produce. They are not valued on other multifamily properties that sold in the area. Houses are valued on what sold around it. Multifamilies are not that way. They are based on the income they produce. So I control that income by increasing rents and lowering expenses, and then after a few years I had done enough of that I wanted to get the property reappraised, and this is how I pay back my private lender. Flash forward to just last month, I got the property reappraised from the same bank and it appraised for $1.1 million. So I added a ton of value by doing the things I talked about. So I got a new loan for 80% of that appraised value. 80% of 1.1 is $880,000. I paid off that initial loan, which was paid down from $545,000 to $525,000. I paid back the initial amount to my lender of $137,000 that he lent me. He also got 7% along the way, but I gave him a kicker on the back end. I gave him $21,000 additional on top of that. So that made his return about 12%. So do all that math, I paid everybody back plus interest, have a new mortgage on the property, and I was able to take home $197,000 of tax-free money. It's tax-free because it's debt. Debt is not taxed. My mortgage payment went up because my mortgage amount went up, but that's okay because like I said, over the past few years, that increased rent and decreased expenses still allows me to cash flow a great amount. Everybody's paid off, I got a ton of tax-free money, and everybody wins. The tenants win because they have a better place to live and we take great care of our tenants. The bank wins because they got 2 really good quality loans over the last few years. The private lender won because he got active cash flow and then his whole lump sum back plus interest. And I won because I created wealth and got a lot of tax-free money and provided great housing, and that makes me feel good. I do this kind of stuff all the time with single-family rentals, apartment complexes, and storage facilities. So follow me on here if you want to learn how to create wealth and how to create financial freedom without using any of your own money through the processes that I do that work. See you on the next one.